Zofiowka Psychiatric Hospital. The team arrived in Warsaw at the deserted Zofiowka Psychiatric Hospital, where they were told one of the children had found a hiding spot. A thick silence hung in the air as they made their way inside. It was almost like the present and the past had been connected somehow, but sounds of children playing resounded in the depths of the decaying dormitory. They wound their way through and finally reaching the backyard. Here, in this very place, lay buried a mass grave with hundreds of bodies, victims of a terrible massacre that had occurred in World War II. Approximately 150 patients had been executed at this site. A force of dread overtook us, and each of us had memories of both joy and profound grief. Some of the soldiers began to laugh, while others dropped their weapons and howled in terror. Suddenly, a dark figure emerged from behind one of the grave. It was a mutated kid, brutally deformed with horns protruding from its forehead and deformed hands. It dragged its tail behind it, head hung low holding a doll. The mutated kid spoke perfect English.
"Father is not here. Do you want to play with me?"
Then suddenly switched to German as she addressed the soldiers.
"Setzt sie auf und verbrennt sie mit dem Flammenwerfer."
General Carter stepped forward and put himself between her and the team. He tried to reason with the child, asking, "Where is your father? Will you come and play with us?" General Carter quickly ordered his men to hold it back, but as they tried to grab it, the little mutant let out a shrill cry and with a sudden movement propelled the soldiers into the air. The creature seemed all too aware of its own power, what looked like telekinesis before it fled into the darkness, and none of them could reach it. Suddenly, dozens of creatures emerged from the shadows and surrounded them. General Carter quickly ordered his men to form a defensive circle around him and the civilians. Like the children, the creatures had sewn-on eyes, with abnormally long arms and sharp claws known to tear their prey apart, with several tails trailing behind them that could also pierce you. General Carter shouted for everyone to get ready for battle, but it was too late. The creatures charged forward in an all-out attack. Bullets flew through the air, and screams echoed off the walls as they fought desperately for their lives against these nightmarish beasts. In a desperate attempt to protect Isabel and her team of experts, General Carter threw himself in front of them just as one of the creatures lunged at her throat with its razor-sharp claws. When it was all over, some of General Carter's soldiers, including Harrison, lay dead, while many others were severely injured. The creatures had vanished as quickly as they had appeared, and no traces remained. Isabel was badly shaken but still alive thanks to General Carter's heroic actions. Suddenly, an ear-splitting shriek that drops to a deafening rumble. The sky splits open and lightning strikes Earth. The mysterious figure descended from the heavens and arrived in front of the group. It seemed to be a hybrid of a bull and a human, crowned with a regal hat and its dark wings spread wide. The creature towered at 7 feet tall, gripping a burning sword in one of its hands. The air was filled with a pungent, sulfurous aroma that lingered for minutes following the dimming light. A voice rang out,
"All humans stink of greed, of disease, of stupidity, of filth and death."
A million smells wrapped together in one great rancid stench that billowed from the doorway and surrounded us all. A man in a clerical garb emerges from the shadows, his voice thundering through the air as he declares, "Efreet, now you have my permission to play with them." For a moment, a metallic taste lingers on the tongue, like licking a coin. Could it be the bitter taste of death? A bright light engulfed General Carter and his team as he felt an intense heat in his body before he passed out. When Isabel woke up, she found herself locked in a cell and strapped to what looked like an electric chair. Large spreaders were placed around her mouth. The sewn-eyed mutant child came hopping along as if she were playing at the playground, holding a rusty water bucket full of worms in one hand.
"Father wants me to ask you something. If it's yes, you should look to the right, and if it's no, to the left. Do you understand?"
She grabbed a handful of the squirming worms. Isabel was horrified and screamed a blood-curdling scream of torment. The mutant child was laughing manically.
"Will you play with me? I want to play with you." Will you play with me? I want to play with you.
At that very moment, the bucket with the worms and the child's head fell to the floor. Adriel had stepped forward and whispered something in Isabel's ear that caused her to faint.